Welcome to the Pit Check, your weekly news for the best and heaviest new albums from your favorite extreme metal and hardcore bands. This week, put on your big boy breakdown pants. It's about to get nasty. Just when I thought 2025 couldn't possibly get any heavier, this week's albums came rolling in and just wrecked the place. If you love death metal, deathcore, or beatdown hardcore, this might actually be the hottest week of 2025 for you. And we've also got some metalcore and some hardcore, but surprisingly, this isn't a big week for genre variety. This is a big week for breakdown variety. So as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do this every week. And let's get into this week's best and heaviest new albums. This is the soundtrack to the AI apocalypse. The technical death metal and thrash crossover band Revocation has just released this impressively existential new album titled New Gods, New Masters. The first thing we have to talk about here is the absolute masterful guitar work led by frontman Dave Davidson, who somehow does vocals while simultaneously shredding and soloing all over the place. And I love the way this band strings together tons of these really unique patterns and grooves that are so technical and strangely melodic. Metal Insider is even quoted saying, "The man's solos feel like you're decoding ancient alien algebra with your teeth." The big theme and message on this album is this overwhelmingly dark and dystopian look at the future of humankind in the AI era, as well as the worship of technology as like godlike deities. With Davidson himself saying, quote, "I've been very fascinated with the development of artificial intelligence, and I'm deeply concerned where this could lead humanity, whether it's the slow march towards a technological dystopia or the all-out annihilation of our species." And the punishing brutality of this album really solidifies this like death march into oblivion. This album also has disgusting features from Cattle Decap and Job for a Cowboy, whose styles obviously fit perfectly with this band. I love this album, debatably even more than their last album, Nether Heaven, but I'll admit that might just be recency bias. Either way, definitely check this one out. Enslaved from creation, born to open. Slam lovers are feasting this year. The hottest slam and deathcore band in town, PeelingFlesh, have released their latest album titled PF Radio 2. If you love when slam bands incorporate hip-hop samples, DJ scratching, and breakdowns so heavy you can't help but smile, well then, this is probably already your favorite band. This album is non-stop destruction, but it's just so self-aware and fun and groovy and bouncy, it's nearly impossible to just not have a good time. And if that wasn't slow and nasty enough for you, they've also simultaneously released a slowed down version of the album. I had so much fun with this one. If you want to turn off your brain and go full caveman for like 21 minutes, then definitely check this one out. I am loving this revival of 2000s metalcore. The throwback Myspace metalcore band Dying Wish has released their latest album titled Flesh Stays Together. I love when bands remind us how gritty and rough around the edges early metalcore was. Honestly, I'm really not a fan of super overproduced metal, where everything sounds so artificial and snapped to a grid. Personally, I need that beefier guitar tone where you can hear like the fingers sliding across the strings. And I know it sounds dumb, but I love being able to hear the vocalist take a breath. Everything is just so much more grounded, and I love it. And speaking of the vocals here, good God, Emma Boster has done it again. Not only are her harsh vocals piercing and snarling, just taking bites out of these lyrics as she spits them back in your face, but I'm also a big fan of her clean vocals on this album. I love that she's not pitched up or auto-tuned. Instead, she has these really soft and somber vocals that keep the mood of this album so dark. I really enjoyed this album. This is that kind of rough around the edges stuff that I've been loving so much lately. This is another one that would have been my favorite in high school. Have you ever heard a hardcore band that sounds like sandpaper? The gritty and abrasive California hardcore band Clique is back with their latest EP titled Death Is Not Our Only Option. This is a 5-song relentless assault on your ears and your morals. From moment one, this feels like a cathartic scream of pent-up rage, just hammering against the downfall of society due to capitalistic greed, as well as a battle cry signaling it's maybe time to turn the tables. Forcefully. The guitar and bass here is just so overwhelming, literally swallowing the mix whole. But that super punchy snare drum just cuts right through the mix, along with these just thick and syrupy vocals that'll suck you in like Artax in the Swamp of Sadness, culminating in some of the heaviest and most satisfying beatdown hardcore breakdowns maybe all year. I had a great time with this one, and along with their remastered EP from earlier this year, Clique has been on a hot streak lately. Do you love down-tuned slamming deathcore? The up-and-coming slam and deathcore crossover band, Beyond Extinction, has released this meteoric debut album titled Where They Gather. This young and hungry band somehow getting features from both Black Tongue and Ingested really does feel like it's the old heads handing off the baton to the new generation, just to see what the kids these days are capable of. And capable they are. The instrumentals here are constantly showing off their technical prowess while also getting really sludgy and heavy and just smashing these devastating breakdowns and slams. I thought this was an awesomely heavy and brutal new album, and it's also worth pointing out that even though this is their debut album, this is also a concept album, telling the stories and horrific tales of this fictional last city on Earth, and the non-stop depravity of this hellscape is perfectly mirrored by this just evil-sounding instrumentals and especially the vocalist. What deathcore band needs 3 guitars? This one does. The transcontinental technical death metal and deathcore band Face Yourself has released this unstoppable new EP titled Fury. I really enjoyed their last EP from earlier this year titled Martyrs, but if I'm being completely honest, I think this one's better in just about every single way. On this EP, those 3 guitars are put to such perfect use, with so many creative and techy riffs and unrelenting breakdowns that are always fresh and never recycled. And I love how much more death metal influence is coursing through the veins of this one. And the drummer and bassist are also monsters in their own right, but once again, center stage is this absolute show-stopping performance from vocalist Yasmin Tucker. And with this EP being produced by the legendary producer Joey Sturgis, it should come as no surprise that this recording sounds amazing. And Joey has this track record of really pushing bands to reach their full potential. And I'm not saying he's like solely responsible for this or anything, but there is definitely a vast improvement on how mature, creative, and outright devastating Face Yourself is on this release. I love this band, and I'm so gutted I didn't get to catch them when they were in my area last time. From what I've seen, they're even nastier in person. Real quick, I just want to say thank you guys so much. We've officially become a YouTube partner. I'm still not able to get like ad revenue yet, but I think super chats and stickers and stuff like that is available. I'm not sure if anyone actually uses those, but we're there, and now we're one step closer to monetization, which means we're one step closer to making this a real job, which of course means even better and more content for all of you. So this is a little baby step in the grand scheme of things, but it means a lot to me. And so again, thank you, seriously, for supporting this channel. It's been crazy. If there's anything I can do to give back, let me know. Give it to me straight, Doc. How bad is it? I'm sorry, sir. You need a peepeepoopeeballsectomy. Stat. The brutally heavy slam band peepeepoopeeballsectomy has released their latest EP titled Shitstorm. I'm sure you already know what you're getting into with a band name like this. Stupidly heavy breakdowns, pig squeals, memes and pop culture references, and slams so heavy it'll make you lose like half your brain cells. And you'd be right, but also, it rips. There's also some surprising features from Carcosa and Secreted, which of course, both go nuts. And like their EP from earlier this year titled Stinking Demo, the riffs and songwriting here are a lot more interesting and fresh than you'd expect, especially from a band that could pretty easily coast on this amazing name. But instead, they keep things groovy and fun and bouncy the entire time. Yeah. If you want some goofy, self-aware slam and deathcore, you know what to ask from your doctor. Do you love Finnish death metal? The Finland-based melodic death metal group, I know I'm gonna screw this one up, Mors Principium Est, or Death is the Beginning in Latin, has released their latest album titled Invisible Darkness. If you love constant guitar solos and haunting and cinematic atmosphere in your death metal, this band is going to be right up your alley. The blackened and symphonic elements, especially in the guitar work, are so sharp and dynamic, and they constantly introduce this like adrenaline into every single song. Also, I'm pretty sure this drummer got that robot leg surgery that JP and Grandma's Boy wanted.
I am not amused.
There is just constant double bass gallops and sextuplets. I genuinely don't think he ever stops on this album. There's also a ton of like strings and violins and even choral elements that really push this evil and menacing theme. This really feels like one of those riding into Valhalla from the battlefield type of bands. And here is the full list of all of the metal and hardcore albums that came out this week. And then finally, make sure you check out Voluntary Mortification for even more deathcore slam madness. They even have a sick job for a cowboy cover on this EP. The only reason I didn't cover them was because we already had a lot of slam and deathcore on today's episode, and this was just an EP. And as always, let me know if there's any bands that I missed, anything that I should have checked out this week, or if you have a band or your friends got a band, drop some links down below. This is a safe space for music nerds. And I'll catch you next week for next week's roundup of the best new albums.